Hello and welcome to this Big Brother 18 reunion. I hope you enjoy. If you've missed any of the Big Brother reunions that we've done so far, check the link. There's been 17 of them that you've missed, and I hope you enjoyed them. We've reunited some absolute legends. Don't forget to come back for the next episode for the Big Brother 19 reunion, which is the final one of the original series. But don't worry, celebrity Big Brother reunions will follow. Hello and welcome to this Big Brother reunion, and we've got some great characters on today. Let's say hello to Raph.
Hello.
You know, I love how you're dressed the way you were in Big Brother, which is always short.
Always.
Yeah.
I never give a fuck how I look.
I love it. You just look so cool. And we've got Mandy, which
That's like me, I've got no eyebrows.
everyone always thinks Mandy was Charlotte's sister, because Mandy, you look incredible.
Thank you, darling. Like I said earlier, makeup, stout pair of pants, and high heels.
And then
Smoke and mirrors.
I've got to say, one of my favourite people that I've been speaking to organising this, who's just been so helpful and the most organised person in the world, it's Rebecca. How are you?
Yeah, I know.
Hello, I'm okay, thank you.
At the bottom, who's just joined us, a new mum, it's Simone, who's just had a baby. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing. So we've got Arthur's joining us in just a moment. So first of all, guys, I want to ask you, what was it about Big Brother that made you want to actually take part in it? So starting with Raph, what was it about the show that you just wanted to be involved with?
Well, my answer is probably the most obvious one of everyone, just because I was so obsessed with the show. So I was just like, I have to go on, I have to go on. I decided when I was 12 years old that I was going to go on, manifested it, and made it happen. Like, literally, super fan, dream come true. That was my story through and through.
And obviously, since leaving the show, I know that you've kept in touch with a lot of housemates from the Channel 4 series, and I've seen that, you know, they follow you and stuff. So being like this super fan, to actually be a former Big Brother contestant and be mingling with those people, is it kind of surreal for you?
Definitely surreal. Like Glenn, for example, from Big Brother 7 was my favorite housemate of all time, and now he's like one of my really good friends. So
Yeah.
that's really awesome, and just in the sense of it was kind of full circle, but also I looked up to these people. They were role models to me, so it's really nice that I have that relationship with them now.
And Mandy, what was it about the show that made you want to take part?
Oh God, I always loved Big Brother. Like, I absolutely loved it. I mean, it was the first reality television program, really, and I can remember the very first one. A bit dull, actually, in the get-go. The whole chicken scenarios and whatnot. Yeah, I think when you get to my age, because I'll not mention the exact age, but I'm the wrong side of 50, it does get a little bit dull. And I was a divorcee, and I just needed, like I said to the producers, I needed something stronger than coffee, but not as strong as cocaine. And sort of Big Brother fit that bill. And we, to be honest, we applied years ago as mother and daughter, Charlotte and I, when it was with Channel 4, and Charlotte went through all the shrink tests and everything, and I screwed it up. I didn't get the paperwork in, you know, the checks, police checks and all the rest of it. I thought I had. I thought I posted everything, and I hadn't. So yeah, and she wwent travelling anyway, so couldn't have done it then. So yeah, but she was only 19 at the time. Yeah.
And Rebecca, what about you? What was it about the show that made you want to take part? Because you know already, like, I'm a huge fan. I thought you were brilliant in there. I really did.
Thank you. Wow. God, there were a couple of reasons, really. One, I didn't want to do it. I didn't. They rang me up and they said, will you do it? Because I'd worked for ITV for quite a few years, and I said, do people still watch this shit? And
Say what you think, Rebecca. Say what you think, darling. Don't hold back.
Right, I did, but then when I did actually watch it again, because I then went to watch a different series, and I reminded myself actually what I did actually love and enjoy about it. And I'd gone through a breakup. I wanted to leave my life for a while. I got down to the final 40 of The Apprentice, and they make you leave your life when you get there. I know, right? Anyway,
yeah.
But they made me plan to leave my life, and they make you put the plans and preparations in place. So my work had been taken care of, my kids had been taken care of, and then they said they didn't want me. Fine, whatever. I knew that Big Brother filmed at the exact same time, so I rang up my agent and said, "Tell him I'll do it," and so I did.
And the rest
Now
is
we're in.
history.
Yeah, I'm glad I did, but I didn't. I do love Big Brother, but I didn't apply, and I didn't really want to do it in the beginning. But I'm really glad that I did.
And Simone, what about you? What was it about the show that made you want to participate?
Well, nothing really, because to be honest with you, I've not even watched many episodes. I think I've watched about one. And I got the phone call saying, "Would you do it?" So I was like, "Well, do you know what? I don't even know what it's about, but I'll just give it a go, see what it's all about." But yeah, I'd only watched about 1 or 2 episodes of it, and then I YouTubed it, and I thought I watched it, and I thought, you know what? I'll give it a go. It looks quite interesting and quite fun, so I just did it for the crack, really.
How come they rang you, Simone? How did they have your contacts? I don't understand.
I was doing glamour modelling for the sport.
You were doing what, sorry?
Modelling for the sport. And they scouted me out. Yeah, the Sunday sport, yeah.
Oh, Sunday Sport.
I thought you said spa.
No.
Sport.
Yeah, I was doing, and they scouted me out through the papers and everything like that.
Yeah, I think Charlotte and I were the only genuine applicants then.
For a couple, I think Sukhvinder was the same.
Really?
Yeah, they rang me and said,
Sukhvinder and Imran applied.
I'd only watched 1 or 2 episodes. I was like, I didn't even know what it was all about. But then when they rang, I thought, you know what, I'll just give it a go.
Genuinely, you didn't know what Big Brother was about?
What was that?
Did you say you didn't know what Big Brother was about? Did you not watch the show before?
Just once.
Wow.
And then I YouTubed it and it was all crazy. And I thought, you know what, I'll have a bit of that. I'll just give it a go.
Bit of a holiday. Arthur, what about you? What was it about the show? Because you were just hilarious when you went in there. Like,
wow.
I still watch the best bits on YouTube, and just watching you.
Oh, do you know what? I can't even watch back. You know, it's so cringy. Like, I can't. I just can't do it.
What, Arthur's bits?
Mine.
Yeah.
Arthur was a legend.
I didn't.
Sat there eating the lager and things like that. Like, no, I just, what an idiot I was in there, honestly.
What,
I can't even watch it without laughing.
Arthur, what for you? What was it that you loved about the show, and why did you want to take part? Because you were just hilarious in there.
Yeah, no, mate, it's true.
Oh no, this is Arthur. Sorry.
No. So I actually, do you know, I thought it was the best. I thought the Crookshanks was the best. I thought his meltdown, where he was like, "You're a snake," was just like. That was like, and he was getting his bin bags and stuff. That was like.
You know what? I just wish that everybody listened to me from the beginning because I was so straight. Like, yeah, I was just honest, and he turned out to be an absolute fucking asshole.
Joe!
Hey,
Joe! I don't think he can hear us.
Can you see us?
Who, the baby?
Yay!
Yeah, so I was just being honest, and everything I said about Andrew came out to be true, but no one would believe me, and I was like, I'm just being honest.
Right, so Joe's joined us.
Oh my goodness, we got Joe. No way.
Hey, Joe.
All the way from, well, yeah.
Can you hear us, Joe?
Yeah, sorry I'm late. I got caught up.
Thank you so much for joining. Can you see your
Hey, Joe.
Hi. Rebecca, I need a lawyer.
Oh, good. Joe, I'm only working in criminal law, though.
Yeah, what do you think I'm involved in?
Joe, of course you have a cigarette in your hand.
Listen,
Love it.
I've got it. How are you, Ralph? All right?
I'm great. It's great to see you.
Good. I can't even see anyone. I'm not coming close up to see who else is on there.
Joe, thank you so much for coming on. I want to ask.
Sorry I'm late, but like I said, over it, I know it's dead out there, but there was an accident on the motorway, so.
So, Joe, we've asked everyone else. What was it about Big Brother that made you want to take part?
What did you ask everyone else first?
We already have.
No, what did you ask them?
The only question we've asked so far is what made you want to take part in the show?
Well, to be quite honest with you, they got in touch with me and my partner. It wasn't me they got in touch with me. We never.
But Joe, because this is an interesting bit, because but you got called up quite late, didn't you? Or is that not true?
When we applied, because it was a couple, it was meant to be like a couples, wasn't it? All couples.
Yeah.
And the problem was that actually, Mandy, you was there, wasn't you, love?
I was, darling. Yeah.
Yeah. So we.
But when you got interviewed, when at the interviews.
When we got called up for us.
Yeah, because I think Charlotte remembers you in the interview process. Yeah.
Well, we got asked to go there anyway. We never had to do no video or anything.
Oh, maybe she didn't then. She must have got mistaken.
But the thing was, they lied to us from the beginning, because LJ was in England and I was in Tenerife. They phoned her up and said, "Oh, Joe's going to do it if you don't do it." Then they phoned me up and said that LJ said, "You can do it." So they lied anyway. I'm not going to go into it, but there was a lot of, not going to swear, a lot of bullshit anyway. So they
Are you
lied.
still with her?
Huh?
Are you still with LJ?
Yeah, of course I am.
Goodness, that's the only relationship that worked.
But yeah, you're right. They didn't let me know until they let me know on a Thursday, and I was in Tenerife, and the show was starting on a Monday.
Yeah, so hold on, so they called you up really late, didn't they?
Yeah, on a Thursday, the show was starting
Yeah,
on
exactly. Yeah, no, because that's what he didn't get. He couldn't understand how I knew that you weren't somebody who'd been in in isolation with everybody before the show. Yeah, and that's the one bit he couldn't get. Garrett.
Isn't it because of your godfather?
Yeah, well, no. It wasn't because of my godfather. Because I didn't know what they called anybody up or anything like that. But it's a good shout, Raph.
Because you were going to go with the pair with your godfather or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why
they obviously thought that him and I would hit it off, didn't they?
Obviously.
I'm not a key bearer though, so I'm not sure.
Love your hair, Rebecca.
Sorry?
Thank you, Joe.
Rebecca.
Thank you.
So starting with Raph, what I want to ask everyone is, what stands out to you as your funniest moment? So when you think back to your experience, something that stands out that just makes you laugh. So starting with Raph, what stands out to you as your funniest moment in Big Brother?
Can you come to me last? Can I think about it?
Of course. What about Mandy?
Yeah, come to me. I wasn't there that long, thanks to Tom. My funniest moment, oh gosh, well, I'm a bit limited really, but I think it was quite funny that I called Leighton for the duration of my stay. I mean, I honestly thought his name was Leighton, and then I think they all started calling him Leighton. Ryan called him Leighton. So yeah, and bless him, he didn't even tell me that I was calling him by the wrong name. I mean, I
got him by the wrong name for ages, so long.
I think that's my fault because I just
couldn't get it.
Leighton, I was like that. I mean, I've not heard. Sorry about the dog. There's a combine harvester, and he's barking at it. Let me just comment. So yeah, other than that, funny moment when Chanel got kicked off.
But that was like Mandy. That was actually because what was harsh about that was that it was the producers just turned around and were like, let's kick her off, because they got everybody to vote for their least favourite person. They'd have got them to vote for their favourite, she'd have sailed through. But it was just all of the rest of the people banging up on her. Yeah, Raph. That's classic Big Brother, isn't it?
Totally. You change the voting strategy, and then by doing so, different people say people different characters stay in a vote to save versus a vote to evict.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a vote to evict, wasn't it? For Chanel. And that's why she went, for sure.
They always do that, though. They make
for Joe, it was also a vote to evict. They changed it by Joe's time. Right, Joe?
What's that? Sorry.
They changed it to vote to evict by week 5.
Yeah, do you know, I've always thought that, I've always said it, and it won't change my mind. I always thought Big Brother, when they always say it's down to you to decide, I always thought that they should always left it to the public to nominate people and not housemates to do that. Because I'll tell you why. Because if you keep watching it, when gangs form and then they start talking about each other and that, so if they keep saying that you decide, then I should have left it always for the public to pick up the people that should have been nominated. That's what I think anyway, but it doesn't matter now.
Well, Simone, what about you? What stands out to you as your funniest moment? So when you think back to your experience.
Who's that to?
Simone.
Simone, you're in the car, just had baby.
Yeah, I am.
How many babies you got now, Simone? 10? Simone, how many babies you got?
4.
4?
Oh.
You push them out and you're right in the car already shopping. Simone, I'll tell you what, that first night you come in there, I wanted to fucking kill you.
Wow, Joe.
Oh
Brilliant.
my God.
Are you allowed to swear on there?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want on here.
Yes,
No, I look back at the episodes on YouTube and I think what an embarrassment I was to this bloody, honestly.
Yeah, well said,
to this
Simone,
show.
well said. Seconds that.
Simone,
I thought Simone. Do you know what I thought Simone was actually was genuine, was really nice, and I honestly thought that the Chanel show could not have been more like boring. Genuinely.
Contrived.
Well, no, it wasn't that. It was just like, you know, but like, hey, you know, whatever. I mean, you know what? I think that, like, you know, well, you know, I think that's who I am, but like, you know, I actually do follow her on Instagram. I do follow her on Instagram.
That's why it was a bit boring.
I do follow her on Instagram, and I do think that she looks like Michael Jackson. I don't know.
Simone?
Yeah, no, not Simone, Chanel.
No,
Chanel.
Chanel.
Yeah. Have you got the inside nose job, Raph, or not? Have you got the? Do you know if she's got a nose job or not?
On Chanel? No, I still talk to her. I love Chanel. I adore
No, I like
Chanel.
Chanel.
I adore Chanel, but I know she didn't get along with a lot of you guys. But what?
Huh? Has she got a nose job or not?
Not that I know of. No.
Arthur, you're brilliant.
She's had
I
a
love
nose
Chanel,
job.
but she looks like Michael Jackson.
Definitely does, mate. How do you share stuff on this?
Brilliant. So Simone, sorry, did you have a favourite moment, Simone? Like a funny moment, sorry, that always makes you laugh? Because you had, especially when you had that kind of breakdown. I remember when you were like chucking cushions, you just lost it. I had enough.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, that one was like hilarious. Yeah, brilliant.
Just, yeah, Simone, as well, when you kept eating and eating and eating.
In the bed, the lager.
At 4 o'clock in the morning.
Hilarious.
No, my new boyfriend, I won't even let him YouTube my name. I'm like, no, you're not doing it. It's not me.
I don't know. Whenever a fan girl asks me for a naked photo, I just say go on YouTube.
I had a date. You're gonna die when I tell you this. I had a
Can't I
date.
share anything? Yeah, go on, Mandy.
Talking of YouTube, no, I had a date with this guy who, he was desperate. Before we met, he was desperate to tell me that he was somebody. And and I not told him I'd been on Big Brother or anything. He was a bit posh, and he was gagging to tell me who he was. And he was actually the voice of Siri. And this is true story, hand on heart. And he said to me, he was so snobby. He said, oh my God,
go right.
He said, oh my God, I can't believe I'm sat opposite somebody that's not my brother. I'm like, you can shut up. I keep wanting to ask you what the weather's going to be like today.
Amazing.
That is good.
The original voice of Siri, not the current one.
The original. Yeah. Joe, what stands out for you as your funnest moment in there?
Well, I tell you, there was a few. I mean, there was a few people that fell down that was really, really funny. Like Isabel, when she fell, she was dancing, and she.
Yeah.
When I collapsed as well, when we were all dancing. But one of the funniest ones was when you kept talking to Big Brother and you never got an answer. And one morning it was about 4:30 and Tom and Kieran were fighting. And I kept asking them to say, look, if you say good night, Godfather, or something like that, because you know they're not allowed to talk back to you. You can ask them questions, but and then they were fighting, and literally it got quiet. And then I said, look, if you say good night, Godfather, then I'll tell him to shut up. and they actually, in our room, they said, "Good night, Godfather," and we
No.
were at a bed because it was the first time.
We're scared of getting a horse's head in the bed. That's why.
You know, it was. Yeah, it was so funny. We
You
laughed.
obviously rattled them.
It was really funny. So.
And Rebecca, what about you? What stands out as the funniest moment for you?
Do you know what? You forget what's actually happened because then people start talking and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. One of the funnest nights that I had.
Oh my God! What I want to know is how was shagging Luton?
You're a dick.
Arthur is the balls to ask.
Can you repeat that
What was that
question,
comment,
please?
Rebecca?
Can you repeat that question? What did you just say, Arthur?
I was like, well, because she and Luton went on dates, didn't they?
Yeah, we went on dates. Right, okay, so number one.
What's the question, Rebecca?
He said, what was it like shagging Lawton?
Winston, we want to know. Shut
Tell the
up.
dog to be quiet. Rebecca, answer.
Yeah, it was good, yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Are you happy now? Yeah, we had a good time. We had a great time. It was fun and games. What can I say? Apparently we did it for a magazine deal. Not true. In response to the other question, one of my funniest nights and one of my best nights in the house was do you remember the chocolate fight? We had the chocolate fountain and everybody ended up covered in chocolate. That was one of my funniest nights. Raf's birthday was one of the best nights as well.
That was so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go to Arthur
really
now,
cool.
the guy that asked the questions that most interviewers haven't got the balls to ask. What was your funniest moment?
I have to admit, I do watch occasionally Kaylee's Meltdown. I think that Kaylee's Meltdown is like in the top, like, I mean, it's up there with Nicky's, isn't it? It's got to be. I mean, in terms of like, I mean, I don't think I've, huh?
Kaylee.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was
Smash
good.
her fucking face in.
Huh? Raffles?
I just said smash her face in. That's what
Yeah,
I said.
Yes!
Arthur gave me that nickname. Arthur gave me that nickname.
Yeah, you're a fucking cunt. That's all I remember from that.
I mean, but like seriously, I mean, that was really iconic, and that was what sort of like slightly irritates me about the show was that like in the end the nice people won, and it's just like, you know, and it's just like I don't know, like I don't like people who prance around being like, oh, iconic, and like all this like Deborah shenanigans. It's just like, it's not cool, it's not funny, you know. Chanel being like, Chanel McCleary, it's just like the losers got hold of Big Brother and then like ran deep, and I was really, really gutted that Raph didn't win it in the end. I thought that like, it was such a lame way to finish the show with this like, and do you know what the thing is though, the most like biggest thing for me is how like, and this is watching Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother as well, is how actually the people who win it don't actually learn anything about themselves. There's no like introspection that comes from huh? But like, look at Isabella. You know, she's gone and she's stuck like a pair of like
Isabel.
And then also have a look at that bloody Aussie tranny who won it as well. When actually what happened was with that Tory MP, she walks away and she goes, shit, like I'm not that hot anymore. And she has introspection, and so she grows as a person. So actually, I sort of look at it and I'm like, well, the whole experience, even though, you know, a person who I wanted to win, anybody didn't, you know, it actually is good because you get that time to look at yourself and be like, well, what didn't I do right? As opposed to just being like, yeah, I'm just going to, you know, strap a trout pout on and, you know, blow myself up on Instagram and like spunk 60k out of fucking
Listen, Arthur should have won.
Listen,
and I think if Arthur wasn't removed, he would have won.
I don't know about that.
Only Arthur listened to me. If only Arthur listened to me at the beginning, he would have won it because he was the biggest character.
He was
in that house. And
$1,000,000%.
And I would like to ask a question. Who thinks that she deserved to win, Isabel?
I was happy for her to win.
I'm not. I'm sorry.
But I wish that Arthur would have, and I would have liked Raph to have won, but I do think that Arthur was the winner.
I think it's unfair that someone comes in late.
Yeah.
There, so
I agree.
I agree.
It seemed lovely, but I agree with that.
If you take her away, then you should have gave it to Raph. Then you know what I mean? Because I don't think it's fair that people come in 3-4 weeks. They know about you. They know what you're doing, your personality and things like that. So they should have took it away from her and gave it to Raph.
I get that.
Am I imagining that you did? I'm trying to think back because I know it was a couple of years ago, but I always remember you saying "dust." Anybody? Like, didn't you?
Dust.
Arthur is dust.
No, I know, but that was so. Like, that was the thing is that like so.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it was like one of those moments where everybody's like, okay, let's have it because it's like your first day at school, but the only difference is that everybody's like grown up and they're really loud and nobody wants to take second place. Yeah, everybody on their first day at school, you know, you get in, there's like people who form a clique and all of this sort of stuff, you know. But Big Brother was like, everybody is just like really out there, really extroverted. And so I personally, I didn't really like the whole, I don't know, for me, I mean, every journey starts with like a step. And I think that I should have jumped into the hot tub naked. And then if I'd have done that, then it all might have been a bit different.
You made that first night quite chaotic though, Arthur.
I mean,
you stripped the mannequin, wore the wig.
It all just sort of like spiraled from there. But like the point is that like, you know, I don't know, it all got a bit much. But I don't really believe in this sort of like false concept of democracy. I think that actually this idea of everybody, you know, having a say is a bit bullshit because at the end of the day, you know, it's like, I don't know, you split something and then it ends up as nothing.
Listen, Arthur, let me explain Arthur and the dust.
You know what the worst thing was? The worst thing was when Chanel she was talking about fanny flaps and fanny flaps and making that noise, and then you've got fucking what's her name sat there, okay? Who's the northern lass who came in second?
Ellie,
and her catchphrase is chuffing hell. Her catchphrase. Chuffing hell, you've got somebody talking about fanny flaps and she doesn't say it, and it's like, look here, you've got absolutely no crack whatsoever, you're not funny, you're only like, you know, amusing in an environment where other people like push you up. It's like, welcome to the real world, but you know, people put you down, and it's just like this false sense of everybody being all pally and actually everybody being in it to win it that I just don't really like. And that's why I was like, with the dust thing, I was like, I don't want to be part of this. Like,
Arthur, do you remember what the dust incident was?
Yeah, I was cleaning up and I was really cross and I pulled the dust in front. Yeah.
No, we were having a serious meeting, a serious discussion. It was serious, right? Because we were all raging about absolutely everything. The tensions were so high. He goes to us, I'm going to the kitchen and I'm going to sweep up. Right, okay, fine. You do what you do. And we were in the middle of like an absolute drama, and he walks in with a bowl of dust. Here, have some dust. And that is what happened. And then he pissed off. We're like, what the fuck?
Amazing.
Arthur's first meltdown.
I want to say my favorite Arthur
Arthur was having nothing to wash with.
Huh? No, it's just because
your first meltdown was having no pot washer.
Yeah, I know.
Yes. I want the psychiatrist.
Whatever.
There is no dishcloths.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want a carrot.
And it was only because of Arthur having that meltdown that we got anything to wash anything with. Not that I watched much at all.
They're doing it on purpose. We have no dishcloths. Get me the psychiatrist now.
But
and he stood there in protest for 2 hours.
Look, I was right about the food store, because I've since watched a series of
dumb.
I was right.
Really? You were wrong. You were so wrong.
Raph.
You were wrong about the food storage thing to put everything back in. But
yeah, when he
but I
starts
love
putting
you,
it all back
Arthur.
in at 2 in the morning.
But I know, but I was right. I know.
No, you
Hey,
weren't.
fucking hell, Bex. You kidding? Did you not watch the DVD afterwards?
Yeah, and you
They
were
do-
wrong.
They do close it, so you can't put it all back in.
Oh
yeah,
my
but
god.
not at 2 in the morning, and they do let you at actual food times. He was like, yeah, but we'll have no food for breakfast. We will fucking have food. We've just moved it all out of the cupboard.
I never
put it in
want.
the-
I mean,
in-
hey, I know, but like, it was one of those ones. Hey, and it's a good example, isn't it? Anyway,
It was funny television,
I like
though.
your-
I will give you that.
It was almost as good as Sukhvinder getting really annoyed when Chanel put like a bread bag on her head or something. And she,
that was Kieran.
Who was
It
it?
was Kieran.
It was
That
Chanel's
was
hat.
Kieran with
hat.
Sukhvinder.
No, it was
Oh,
Chanel.
it was the hat. Yeah, it was the hat.
The hat was
And
another
yeah, it was.
incident.
Yeah, of course.
The hat thing
Yeah.
was an over exaggeration, by the way. Like someone flicking a hat for him to get out and need space, and that masculinity came out. That was a bit over the top. As a fan watching it, it might have been more.
which bit was this?
No, it was over the top.
Which bit was this, mate?
When someone, Chanel, I think, flipped Kieran's hat and he got all kind of dinosaurish and
mad.
stormed out and got really mad.
I have not spoken to Kieran since that night, and the first time I've seen him since we left the house at the rap party was last week.
Kieran,
how are you guys? Are you guys friends? Where are you guys at, Rebecca?
We have not spoken since the rap party. Do you know why?
Why?
So what we didn't know in the house, and the reason why he was so off and bizarre with me, was because he had a girlfriend.
Ooh.
You never knew that. Sleeping with him 2 days before you went in.
Yeah, no, not even 2 days. It was half an hour, Joe. Like, I had no idea, and none of us had any idea. He didn't tell us, but he's still with her now. And if I'd have known, it'd have been a very different situation. We wouldn't have even spoken about it. But yeah, that's why he was like he was with me.
If it would have known, it would have been a different story.
And
So
yeah, I mean,
living in there, one thing I will say, and I never thought Rebecca was in love with Kieran. So I was shocked to see that narrative.
Listen, no.
Living in it, you can comment on this, but I never felt it. I felt like she wanted a friend who she knew on the outside, and that was it. Right?
I didn't think that she was in love with him. My personal opinion, it looked like she just
lost it.
Trying to be I just felt like you followed him around too much, and that's not that I'm saying he was in love with him, but you was just like on him all the time. That's what.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's the way I looked at it.
I can understand that, because for me, as soon as we went in there, within about 2 hours and the doors had closed, I was in the diary room saying, "Get me out! This is the worst thing I've ever done. I don't know what the hell I've done." I was really traumatized and really anxious.
Scary.
And so, because obviously Kieran was somebody who I knew and knew really well, I think that I did probably sort of not cling to him. I wouldn't say that, but I was probably more on the lines of being closer to him, because he was what I knew. Like, he was a security blanket for me. And I was never in love with him because I'd gone in the house to run away from a really bad breakup. And the person who I was absolutely in love with at that time came to the train station and saw me and Kieran off. So Kieran knew all of that. And that's why he kept on saying, "Rebecca's not in love with me. I know what her situation is, blah, 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 blah." But he did distance himself because he had a girlfriend. And that was really hard for me, because I really struggled until the last 4 days, I'd say, when I kind of got my shit together. I was like Nicola McLean, actually, when she
How did you
came
go
in.
out in the end? When did you go out? I can't remember.
I was evicted after 3 weeks. But Nicola had come in and she'd said to me, "They're portraying you completely differently. You need to sort your shit out. You're not the person who I've been seeing on the outside and through the television. Sort it out." And I did, and I got my shit together, and then I was evicted. And that's fine. That's the nature of this program and all the rest of it. But, and it is what it is, and the history books have been written now. But yeah, Kieran had a girlfriend. We didn't speak after we came out whatsoever. He's still with her. I wish them all the best. I saw him last week. It was fine. Who, what?
Well, Kieran, I thought that Kieran was like on his way to 10,000 test runs or something.
Test runs?
No, I don't know. Vaginas look like the crease. I don't know.
Ah, no, he's been with the same girl 3 years.
Fair enough.
Bless him.
Rebecca, one moment that stands out was when you came back. It was, I can't remember the task. I think everyone was dressed up smart, and you
The
came
wedding.
back and you didn't hold back at all. It just kicked off, and it was one of those moments where I felt you came out the house, you might have watched some of the stuff that went on, and you came back and you just didn't give a toss what you said or who you upset. What was it like to come back in and have the freedom just to kind of say what you've always wanted to say? And what was it like?
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good, because the problem with me is I'm too trusting. And I came out and I watched what everybody had said behind my back, especially Chanel and Hannah. And I was like, you absolute bitches. You have completely played me for a fool. I'm not somebody who I think can be played for a fool, and you've done it. And you've done it on national television. So I'm going to come back in and I'm going to tell you exactly what I think.
I wish you was like that from the start.
I know, but I was scared, Joe.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That was my point. My point. Sorry to butt in. My point was there's. I'm not going to listen. I'm going to start naming names. My thing was to go in there and be as honest as person as I can be, and do it like that. And when you look back and you see what people have said behind your back and what they were saying in it. Anyway, I'm not going to go into it. To be honest with you, I've only watched 10 episodes of it, because I've 10, the very first 10, and what you see, the way.
Yeah, have you watched you back or not? Have you watched yourself back? Have you watched yourself back?
But it goes to show you, that's why from the beginning I was, be honest. If you want something, if you want to say something, say it to that person's face and be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And you can tell after when people come out and when you see it later on and you see that they were really being themselves. They were being false. They were playing up to the camera, and that to me, that's where the it's all gone wrong from.
This is the problem with when it went from Channel 4 to Channel 5.
Yeah, that's it. Well said.
It was a social experiment, and then it became a reality show.
And the way they play down, the way they cut the argument, the way they cut the argument down, they don't show you the full start of the argument. You only see the 20-second, and that's unfair.
Yeah.
And they put you as a person. If they want you to make you look like a prick, they're going to make you look like a prick. If they're going to make you look like a whatever,
they had characters for all of us.
Of course, what I mean.
100%.
But I think what's interesting about what Joe says is, with me and Joe's relationship, I think Joe was probably the most aware of how I was playing the game in the house more than anyone.
Yeah, but like I said, Alfie, sorry, Ralph, I listen.
But you were right.
When you know me, I don't mean to say it in a not intelligent, but my words come out differently. I never went to school. I don't speak the proper English. I come from the streets. I speak common, you know what I'm saying? So when I'm speaking to someone educated or thinking like that, I don't mean nothing by that, because I've got so many friends like that. And I'll take one instance, right? This is the difference. And this is one of the things that always hurt me, because there was no way in a million years, like us, we turn around and we say to each other, like most people, oh, fuck off, get out of here, I'll fuck off back to you. And after, I think it was only 7 or 8 days, jokingly, I said to you, oh, Ralph, fuck off back to America. You took that personal. And from then on, people slagging me off and saying things like that and calling me homophobic. I swear on my sister and brother's life, my brother's gay. I didn't know he was gay, even though when he was telling that story, like one of the first games that we played, that he was gay, until Nicholls told me, and all of a sudden I'm homophobic. And it's just like a game, the show, you know what I'm saying to you? But it goes to show you, I swear down, by me just saying, oh, like, it's like me saying to Arthur, oh, fuck off, you posh cunt. It's just a joke. It don't mean nothing by it. Do you understand? And when you see back and you see all the people that said, like, oh, because, like, and then when you approached me and said you was offended by it, and they've already now got Joe, Raph, Asset, they're in battle, and I think that's where they lost out because, listen, I've got nothing against you, mate. You're young. And
well, me neither, man. I think me and Joe had a really nice chat before, like right before he left, and also at the rap party where we just like.
You know, I told you, listen, the night I left and I told you I was leaving, and I told you all that, you know, and that's the God's honest truth. But it's the way they want to show it, the way, you know, and then I think what fucks it up as well, and I hope I'll never meet him again, and he's probably only one of the people, and I don't really give a shit that I fucking say it. I hope I never fucking meet that Andrew again, because I will slap the fuck out of him.
Oh, Joe, what's wrong for you? Joining you on the screen now. I'm joking.
Oh, nice story, boys. You know, if you ever come to Tenerife, I'm taking him to the fucking mountain, mate, and he ain't coming back down, I swear.
What was your problem with Andrew? Because I thought he came across really well, and I do like him as a person. What was your issue?
He was fake. He came in there to, like I said, they knew everyone's character. And the moment that every time I said something to Raph, he would jump in. And like then he came in there and he wanted to be Raph's best friend and like be all the, you know, all that palaver. And the drinking. I mean, that drinking, that thinking. I was in bed at 2 o'clock. I went outside to have a cigarette, and he was drunk with your daughter, Mandy. And he just kept repeating.
Yeah, no, I loved Andrew.
I liked Andrew.
No, I'm sorry, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. What happened? So he was drunk.
I was in bed with Kieran and Tom. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, and they were just in the toilet. And Kieran said to me, "Do you want to go for a fag?" So I went, "Okay." We went outside, and the only people outside was Andrew and Charlotte, and they were both drunk. So I went outside, I lit my cigarette.
My daughter drunk, stop it.
Right, so I lit my fag and he said to me, "Are you okay, Joe?" And I turned around and I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he kept repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. Now, what the fuck do you want from me? Why are you repeating the same question? And I knew that he was trying to get my reaction, and like it was already 2 o'clock. He's drunk, I'm not drunk, I haven't had a drink. And he just kept repeating it, and that's when all from that moment, then there was a few days later, Debbie said something about money, and I didn't mean the way I said it.
Who's Debbie?
Debbie.
Deborah.
Yeah, Deborah.
Oh.
And then because Deborah said something about the money and Raph said something, he fucking jumped in again, and I thought, oh, fuck off, mate. You know what I mean? Sorry, but...
I mean, watching it as a
bodyguard.
You know, watching it, you guys were in there. We only see an hour a day, but I must
but you don't see the old hard.
Yeah. I liked Andrew, but I did feel like he wanted to provoke you, so then you would get in trouble, or you would look like the bad guy.
Believe me,
come across like
not only that, like I said, I'm not going to say who or whatever, because 13, 14 people out in that house. You can go to any of them videos, and I think I once spoke about someone, never had the balls to say things to your face. They were two-faced, going in a diary room or talking about certain people, and I'm not like that, because I'm a bit older than that. And that's the thing that fucked me off. When you see some of the things back and you hear what people have said and how they talk about you, and they're false, pretending to be your friend and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Joel, who do you think that about?
Who
do you think that about? Because I'll list you my people that were two-faced.
Let me tell you something. If you are man enough or woman enough to put your hand up and say that you spoke about a certain person behind his back more than one occasion, or slag some people down more than one occasion, I think there'd be about 13 of you that would put your hands up. You said it, Rebecca, didn't you? You done it,
what?
didn't you? You done it, didn't you?
Spoke behind people's backs about them.
Someone off.
Slag somebody off. Yeah, but not that I wouldn't have done to their face, and I think that was half of my problem.
But did you do it? But did you do it?
The only do you know what? The only time I may have said something, no, because me and you had our issues, and we knew how we felt about each other, and I very much told you kind of where I was at with you, and so I never did anything in the diary room that I didn't do to your face with anybody else. No, do you know? No, because you know what? Up until the point where I actually left the first time, I didn't really have an issue with anybody. It was when I came out and I saw what they said, and that's why I went back in and laid into people that I did. Behind them. I mean, I don't know. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you knew how I felt about you. Well, I knew how you felt about me.
I never really knew until I watched a few clips of it. Now that I wasn't really? I wasn't in the bedroom when you was calling me quite a few names, a few names under the sun.
But
things like that.
You knew I didn't
I do
like
think we
you,
were all guilty of that. I do think we were all guilty of
Oh,
that.
sorry. Go on, Jay.
No, sorry, I didn't hear what Ralph said.
Yeah, I think we were all guilty of that, because even if we had like a strong opinion on someone and we said it to you or to anybody, I think like literally every single person in the house talked about someone else in the diary room, because that's like, it's kind of like your own headspace. So it's almost like everybody does it. It's something different to real life. It's kind of like your own diary entry. And I think that's tough to watch because you don't get to see that in real life.
A lot of it goes like, because they spoil it by doing all the shit stirring and things like that, because the moment you tell one person how you feel about someone, or he done that and that, then all of a sudden then they've got their guard up and things like that.
Winston is too cute, man.
It just keeps barking. There's literally a combine harvester outside our garden.
Is it? But can I just say as well, how big a bet did the producers put down that each and every single one of us who was walking out into that house that evening would not look up to the left? Because everybody was standing up there watching us all walk in, weren't they? Or did they come out?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Well, so like, you know, all of the people who were going to be, you know, how there was going to be like a vote on who went in, whether it was going to be fucking Tom or
Could have been Andrew.
Yeah. I didn't have a clue.
No, I didn't know. No,
exactly. And so they're all up on like this podium to the left, and so
I didn't have a clue.
And there's Emma, and so we'll walk around to the right, but they're all stood up watching everybody walk out.
But that's what I'm saying.
They keep cutting to them halfway through, don't they?
But that's what I'm saying. It's an unfair advantage, because they were listening to everything that you're saying and everything. And I watched you on TV for 30 odd days or whatever days, and then they come in there. And of course they know your character, if you've spoken about someone, and that to me is unfair. You know what I'm saying to you? So how can you do that? You know what I'm saying? So
I've got a couple more questions. So before we get to what you do now and life after the house, I want to ask everybody what they found toughest about their experience as a whole. So starting with Raph. And Raph, because you didn't get to answer what your funniest moment was, start us with that and then go into what you found most.
Ringtone is that?
Bet that's Arthur.
I think
that is
the funniest moment for me was Arthur, like every rant that Sukhvinder had, and then Arthur telling Sukhvinder that, you know, the earth don't fall off the edge, love. Like
it's flat.
Like epic moment.
Epic.
But for me, what was tough, I actually didn't find the house tough at all, in the sense of like, I was kind of quite robotic in the house, that I didn't allow my emotions to really show much at all. Whereas when I came out of the house, I found coming out of the house much tougher and adjusting to life after the house, just because it really felt like, you know, you're kind of institutionalized like in prison, and you come out and your brain is so fucked up that I think that's not talked about enough. And I think all of us have experienced it. Just like when you come out, that's so much tougher than being in there. Like reading things people say about you, watching yourself and seeing like, oh, I'm not exactly how I perceive myself. Like there's actually differences is really tough to learn. And then just the whole environment of being stuck in with just these people, you kind of then only feel safe seeing these people. Like I remember seeing Rebecca and Arthur after the show, and you feel so safe connecting with them, and you feel like everyone else is a stranger and you're almost scared of them. And that's what makes Big Brother so tough, is when you come out. I don't know if you guys would agree, but for me, that was the hardest thing.
100%.
Raph, you're the nicest person I think ever. You just come across as such a nice guy. Anyway, Mandy, what did you find tough?
What did I find tough?
Yeah, about your whole experience.
About the whole experience?
Yeah.
Oh, the bullshit that was made up when I came out. Like the absolute, utter bullshit.
What was made up?
People,
like what?
Stories. The Chanel with the whole, I came onto a boyfriend. The only conversation I had with her boyfriend was, Chanel's doing really well. And he said, yeah, she's playing the game really well, isn't she? That was it. And then the story came out that I came onto her boyfriend. I'm all about age-appropriate relationships, as Rebecca knows, because we spend a lot of time. Like, seriously, I don't even date men 5 years younger than me because I don't. And so, and plus, in the real world, I would never have fancied him in a million.
No, he was ugly as shit. Sorry.
So that was just, and with all
Not
respect to
sorry.
Brenda, that was the biggest made up news story ever that there ever was ever.
And that's fucked with your head, Mandy?
Yeah, it was bollocks.
Sorry?
Like, reading that and seeing that it wasn't true fucked with your head, right?
It didn't fuck with my head. It annoyed me to the point of, because she was a reality professional and I went in for the original Big Brother experience, in that it was a social experiment, not an Instagram, Love Island, being on television, being asked to do the show experiment. I went on it for genuine reasons. 100 grand would have been fabulous, but I did it for an experience. So to get actually bullshit spoken about, yeah, that's hard, because who are they going to believe? Somebody that's got umpteen Instagram followers, or somebody that actually turned off all their social media and didn't even have an Instagram account? So, that
I believed you.
Yeah. Sorry?
I believed you.
Well, it's the truth, that's why.
That'd have been never in a million years.
On everything that I hold dear, it's the truth. So it was just a made-up story to sell, whatever.
So there's her profile.
Exactly. Yeah, and it was the most, and I don't know whether it's because I was so against age-inappropriate relationships that's why it was made up.
It's called, to most of them, it's called fame hungry, love.
Exactly, darling, exactly. So yeah, that was hard, and there was a few other things that happened, because, well, I'm not even going to it, but yeah.
Like what?
What?
Yeah, I don't want to push you to talk about.
Yeah, like what?
Just being intrigued.
Made up stuff. Like, well, no. And not
Mandy! Come on!
Randy Mandy!
Hashtag Randy Mandy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's bad when you go into the house as a genuine and then you get the non-genuines talking.
Andy, I thought you were
That's
going to...
what's hard. And it's a shame, and this is what I said before, this is what spoiled Big Brother. They need to go, if they ever bring it back, they need to go back to the basics, which was what the show was about. That people are not famous, they're not already famous.
They can't cheat.
Say that again?
Live stream, so they can't cheat. So people
live stream.
Yeah, live streaming. I mean, yeah, they used to have the live streaming. They did when we first went in. They had a bit of live streaming.
Yeah, I know, but that's what's so fascinating. That is actually what's fascinating about the whole thing, is that how time works, and like that's something that since being in the house, I've really looked into.
Because then you can't.
No, but like, So, but it's interesting, isn't it? Because
you've not got the hour cut edited version, have you, with the live stream?
Yeah, exactly.
The birds tweeting and the aeroplanes flying over on the bits they don't want you to hear. But yeah, but that was an original Channel 4 thing, the live streaming, wasn't it? So yeah, that was hard. Yeah.
Did any of us
hard leaving Charlotte as well, because I was like, really.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So hold on. So Mandy, sorry, not Mandy. Did anybody actually see Big Brother's best bits? Did any of us make the cut or not?
It was only Channel 4.
was only Channel 4.
Yeah, only Channel 4 series
Yeah.
that made that.
Nice. Yeah.
But Joe, what did you find tough in the house? Because I mean, you touched upon some of the conflicts that
I'm
you
just
had
going to
in
take
there.
a toilet break. Sorry, guys.
Okay, no problem.
My age.
It's okay.
The hardest thing that I found was that no one, leading up to before I went in there 4 days before, I literally had about, and this is the God's honest truth, 4 days on a Thursday and I went in on a Monday. I literally had about 7 hours kip, and then from then on, from that all day, going to bed, waiting for everyone to finish their drinking, and a lack of sleep, and I can't work. My brain don't function without sleep, and that was I mean, I'm surprised I lasted 33 whatever days but I was just tired all the time, and my brain don't function properly like that. I didn't mind people drinking, but you know, waiting for the light to go out. If it was 4 o'clock, 4:30, and some mornings 9 o'clock woken up, or 10 o'clock. It was just that, and the other thing is obviously the horrible drink that they give you. I mean, I was begging for a Bacardi and Coke to
Every night, Joe asked.
Yeah, I did. I couldn't drink that shit wine and that what they were giving you. I was just begging for a Bacardi and Coke, but then they gave me
warm Prosecco.
Yeah, I mean, how people got drunk off that shit, I don't know. But that the drink and the sleep, really, I'm surprised that. I mean, when I come out and I looked at myself, I looked ill. But I did. I can't function if I don't get enough sleep, and how I was just getting 4 hours, and it's hard. It was hard. It was very hard. So that was my main thing.
And Rebecca, what did you find toughest about your experience?
The whole thing. Like I said, do you know what? I was unprepared for it. I kind of went into it just thinking, oh yeah, it's absolutely fine. I've never been faced by television in my life, and I was like, okay, it'll be okay, whatever. And then when the doors closed and I was in this house, no offense to a lot of you in here, but I was in this house with a bunch of people who I would not associate with on the outside, and I didn't really. Arthur shit scared me on the first night because he was pissed. I love you now, you know that, but on the first night, you were pissed as a fart. You would strip the mannequin down. You were running around with the mannequin's clothes on. You would dress the mannequin in your clothes. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like,
you would try the opposite of what you would imagine when we first put it in.
Yeah, I had like Kaylee. I had Kaylee. Chanel. I was like, there's 1,000,001 X on the beaches. There's an Ibiza weekender. These are the people who I will not associate with on the outside.
Generic people, they're all the same. And yet Arthur was like completely out.
Arthur was just on his own.
Arthur was an
level,
original Big Brother character.
Yeah, he was
100%, Mandy. 100%.
Yeah.
Arthur was so like perfect brother.
In the beginning, I found it really, really difficult, and I just wanted to get out. And then it took me a good couple of weeks to actually properly settle in.
Yeah,
to the
because
game.
I slept with you. That's what did it, Rebecca.
I know. Yeah, that actually really genuinely helped me a lot.
We spooned each other.
Yes, we did. But it was a game.
I was wearing Loton's pants and your earplugs.
Yeah. I didn't go in expecting a game. I just went in and I was just myself, and I thought everybody was okay, and I thought everybody was nice, and then I started to clock on to shit that was happening, and I was like, this is awful. And not only that though, when they come over and they go, this is Big Brother, and then shit starts to happen, by the end of week 1 you shit yourself every time you heard that. And I was like, oh my god, what do I do? Like, what's going to happen to me now? And by the time I'd almost come out, the whole thing was really hard for me until a couple of days before I came out, when I'd got used to it. I knew what was happening. I knew to fight my corner. I knew that like Hannah was putting fucking mushrooms in the food, and Joe, because I'm allergic to them. I'm allergic to fucking mushrooms. The whole house knew.
What happened?
And everybody was putting fucking mushrooms in. I've been hot. Well,
Rebecca, what happens? What happened?
So I end up in hospital. I collapsed, and so there'd been like loads of cross contamination and mushrooms, and so my stomach kept blowing up.
Come on, everybody knows Joe's just.
Rebecca, if I knew that you was allergic to mushrooms after that night, mate, I would have fucking made you a mushroom pie, mate.
You fucking put mushrooms in my food.
Pate.
Mushroom spaghetti bolognese.
Oh,
You
Joe.
did. We were doing dinner, and you were putting fucking mushrooms in. I'm like,
I didn't
"Please,
know.
you're
I
gonna kill
can't see what
me."
I'm saying. I swear down. I didn't know. Another thing. I don't listen to people. I didn't listen to people's conversations like a lot of people did. I didn't give a shit what they were talking about.
Big brother was like this close to taking all mushrooms out of the house because he kept on having to get the doctor into me. I'm like, seriously, my stomach was like out here. It was shit. The whole thing was really hard for me, but in the end I got used to it, and I'm only sorry I didn't get used to it sooner, because I think that I was absolutely true to myself, but I think that if I'd have got used to it a bit quicker, people would have seen more of my true personality, which is not some fucking sad little cow. Like,
I didn't think you came across like that at all. I really didn't actually. Not that I can remember that well, like how you did come across.
No, I mean,
but I can remember you shouting at whoever it was when you came back.
That's what I said. I think what I said at the beginning. I've seen a difference in Rebecca after coming out and what.
Thank you, Joe.
No, but that
You didn't mean for the positive, Rebecca.
Yeah, no. Listen,
Fuck off, Mandy.
I'm a person. Listen, I'm straight. I said it, and I was saying it before. I think the way she came in with Kieran, there was something that, you know.
Yeah, there was something wrong.
There was something wrong, and you could see it. And when you come out, and then you see the personality of the real person, if they would have gone in there being that real person, it would have been a completely different story. But like I said, I wouldn't even call it a house. I call it, they put you in an oven and they turn the heating up.
I call it an institution.
I called it Disneyland.
Yeah. Listen, we're like guinea pigs, and
yeah, we were.
And that's the way. But
I remember you when we first went in, Joe. You were like all quite worried. I remember you sitting sort of on the outskirts and like head in your hands and sort of.
To be quite honest with you,
you were like really.
I didn't want to see. There was a few people I didn't want to see because there was quite a few people on there that I really liked, and when I was told that this person said this and this person was slagging me off and this person said, I found it quite. If you ever watched it,
I mean, like in the first 3 days, you were like a bit.
Yeah, because I got informed. I got informed straight away of what happened. And when that first night that they took me from the house, and I went on a bit on the side, and to be quite honest with you, from the beginning I adored Anna and Deborah, right? And to go on there and then go on a bit on the side, and then they showed me, like, they went live and they showed me that they were like upset or crying. But then you find out the things afterwards, and then you see, you know, what's going on and you think to yourself, Alf, you know what I'm saying to you? I find that quite a kick in the.
What did Hannah and Deborah do? I don't really remember them saying anything. I remember you being quite close to them.
Believe me, if you went
for them.
Listen, I've only watched, and this is God's honest truth. I went up to the 10th or the 11th episode, but it's what people were saying to me. You don't want to watch that, you don't want to watch that, because this is what they were saying. And this, you know, it's like one of them cases that a lot of people, when you're in a room, you go out and all of a sudden they start talking about you, and like, especially that. And another thing is, I will never watch it, but when they put the cube, apparently that was a lot of people, that was a lot of people talking bad about other people too, so. But,
well, we'll go
I'll be the first to say Hannah was a dick.
You know.
Her eating that egg, though, was TV gold.
What?
Her what?
Her eating that egg was TV gold. I cried with laughing. You know the eating challenge. You know when you're in the
100-year-old
room,
egg, right?
the smelly that they have on I'm a Celebrity. That
I
disgusting.
block it
egg.
from memory, that shit.
And she was vomiting. It was the funniest thing I think I've watched on many a Big Brother. It was just so funny.
Andrew with his plastic bags.
Yeah.
Arthur, we'll go to you before we go to what everyone does now since leaving the house. We'll quickly ask you, what did you find difficult?
I don't know. I mean, I think that like, what did I find difficult? Do you know what it is? Yeah. What did I find difficult?
Knowing that Joe wears eyeliner.
Do you know what? I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, you know, there's hindsight, isn't there? And then there's like, at the time, I don't know. I mean, I didn't really find anything difficult. I mean, like, I'm just quite an extroverted person as is. So, like, you know, whether it doesn't make no odds really, like, you know, what the situation is. I didn't really find anything difficult. You know, I just sort of like ran with it, if I'm being honest.
Arthur blazed through Big Brother. He just had a ball, and that was it.
I forgot how good I feel shortchanged with Arthur.
Yeah.
I feel like if we had
you were.
I mean, but like, I don't know. You know, it was one of those things like when I went out and they took me down the corridor. I was like, I couldn't really believe it was happening, and they took me in to get my mobile because, you know, all our mobiles are confiscated. And they open it up and they pass me back the bit of paper, and there's just Arthur written with a big smiley face. And they all look at it and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, cheers. Get my phone back. And then this taxi turns up. Sally gets out looking like $1 million. And it was quite a baller moment. Like, you know, I'm not going to lie. It was like, and it felt good to be out first. And the thing is that, like, it's fascinating looking back because I can remember being like,
I was kicked out first by Tom. Don't forget. I was kicked
out. But Arthur
the
didn't
day
get
after me.
evicted.
No, I know. He was the day after me.
Arthur.
I know. I didn't last longer.
Arthur.
Huh?
Arthur, can I?
Yeah.
Why was you taken out, or did you walk?
Oh no, mate! I got chucked. I got booted.
Right.
It's actually what? Because the bloke thought that I was posse, and this is what I've spent the last. This is leading up. He thought that. So this is classic Joe. So he diagnosed me with mild schizoaffective disorder, which is essentially delusions, and so what I was essentially describing to him was my thesis on what I thought was going on. So a sort of like dualist approach. So since then, so the next question is, what have you been doing since then? So I've actually been working with a team of neuroscientists, and we're looking into what is known as like the psychic staring effect, and basically trying to prove Descartes' theory of dualism, so that the mind is separated from the body as opposed to it just being like a reductionist neuron like process that goes on in your head. So I'm working with a team of neuroscientists at the moment, and we're putting together like a big research paper that uses sport as like the petri dish to try to prove that when people are watching something, it actually influences what's going on. So curse of the commentator and all this sort of stuff. So COVID played into my hands massively now, because we've basically got a whole load of sports fixtures that have been played behind closed doors without a crowd. And actually there's been a trend that's analysed. So we've got a P correlation that's like in favour, and then essentially it's about now trying to prove how it can be causal as opposed to correlated. So I've just got the data back that I basically scrapes off the internet. I got a neuroscientist to do, a friend girl I actually met on Tinder, to do a data analysis of it, run like regression analysis, all of this stuff. And so actually what's been really interesting is that what this guy pinged me for, and this is where it gets really funny, has actually ended up affecting my life so much. It's ended up being like my raison d'etre has been like not just the whole focus of like my work life, it's actually ended up affecting what I wanted to do. I only actually found out about what he put down on my file because he lied to me. Gareth lied to me.
You said something else to me, right? Before, like a year ago. I felt like we talked about it and it was something else.
Yeah, Gareth was like...
Yeah, I knew.
So Gareth was like, you're going to have to leave. And he didn't tell me why, but he told my mum and my girlfriend, my fiance Sally, about it. So I didn't know. And so I only found out when I applied to go into the army, and the army turned around and said, I'm sorry, but we can't have you because of something on your medical record. I had no idea. So I looked into my medical record, the whole thing came out, fucking meltdown, you know, blah, fucking blah. Anyway, so what's actually really jokes is now because of lockdown, okay, and Lewis, don't go publishing this because I definitely don't need this shit on my fucking doorstep.
Well, don't say it, don't say, because this doesn't get edited.
Don't say it, because it's recorded.
No, but what's classic is that actually, and I have since, because this fucking cunt Gareth essentially turned around and diagnosed me with having a mental disorder, I've obviously
since you passed the test to put you in a house, so how can he have done
I knew that, and that's fine, because he was like, he's deluded, you know, he thinks that, you know,
Gareth
there's all this stuff going on. This is essentially the what do you call it? But obviously, because I was working in the wedding business, and obviously the wedding business has been affected by COVID, and so obviously that's meant that I've had to go up on universal credits. And as part of universal credits, you can actually apply for a thing called a PIP payment, which is personal independence payment, which is basically if you're a nutcase, then you get an extra 50 quid a week from the government. So I actually, and fucking Gareth, okay, does not reply to his emails because I've been wanting to chat to Gareth about how actually I've now got quite a lot of neuroscientists who are saying we actually agree with him, and quite a lot of like scientific study and all this sort of stuff. And he doesn't want to talk to me. So I actually
won't talk to you.
I applied for PIP, and they asked for whoever it is, your shrink, your fucking GP, whatever, as a first port of call. So I put Gareth's name down. So fingers crossed, 3 years down the line, he'll actually have to answer for what he did, which was essentially break his whatever it was, fucking Hippocratic oath, and essentially ruin my relationship with Sally, because he turned around to Sally and was obviously like, fuck, shit, you know, Arthur thinks X, Y, and Z. And actually, Arthur just hadn't read a book, and Arthur hadn't studied theory of mind, and actually Arthur has since gone to talk to people who are, you know, PhDs, professors in that subject, who have since said actually what you're essentially describing as dualism. So it's been a big, like, you know, path, you know, no realization, but it's been quite dope. So hopefully I'll get 50 quid or fucking Gareth, and it can all come out of the tax that he pays. So
positive out of a negative.
I love that.
That'll be positive out of a negative.
That'll be a big
positive out of a negative.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Are you still with your fiance that you had in the house?
No. She went. So actually, and so like she ran off with, well, not all the jewellery, but she ran off with the diamonds I found where we first met, and then never came back. Exactly. No, but I mean, hey, like, life happens, you know, and it's
lost, man.
You know, Romeo and Juliet, Raph, doesn't end in a nice way, does it?
There you go. No,
you
lost a good one, man. You're awesome, Arthur. So
yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Raph, let's go to you. We'll quickly ask everyone, what's life been like for you since leaving the house, and tell everyone what you do for work now, and what's that kind of going?
Yeah, so my work is really interesting because it's quite relevant to Big Brother, or like TV in general, because I do work on Love Island. So I cast basically Love Island USA. So I interview people, I scout them on Instagram, put them through the process, they see executives. So that's what I spend most of my year doing. And like one of my motivations for doing that was kind of growing up. I didn't see many people like myself, for example, like I'm Asian on reality television. And I feel like so like that was something I really wanted to change.
You're only really Asian if you've got a passport.
I have a Japanese passport.
Okay, no, you count as Asian, that's fine.
But so that was something that, you know, just like representation in different kind of demographics that I feel like aren't shown enough. And kind of like Mandy said as well, like the normal people on Big Brother, people who really deserve to have a platform and deserve to have their story told, is what my inspiration behind what I do now. And like, for example, on Love Island, I just got the first Middle Eastern guy ever to be on Love Island, Patrick Al-Basha. So hot, girls, check him out, and boys. But he's
so. But Raph, how did you feel about?
Husband number 3, Rebecca. Husband number 3.
But Raph, how did you feel?
With the producers and all that Island.
How did you feel about that guy actually coming out on Big Brother and then winning it?
You asked different questions. You're asking about Cameron?
Cameron! Cameron.
I think what I'll say is I think Cameron was an awesome winner, super nice guy. But if you look at the trends of Big Brother over time, pretty much every single person who's won Big Brother played that game flawlessly for whatever reason they did, whether it's, Cameron, whether it's anyone from any other season. And what's interesting is if you watch these Zoom calls that Lewis is doing, I noticed that 95% of them don't have the winner in them. And I think that's kind of a testament to the fact that most winners played the game so well that they're maybe not authentic to who they are in the house. It's like, that's what I believe. But I thought Cameron was a really nice guy. What did you ask, Mandy?
I said, can you put it to the producers to have like an older person's Love Island?
You know what? That's such a good idea. And I think like people in their 20s.
I'll take Rebecca with me.
Love Island only casts people in their 20s, young 30s in general.
We're going to do like the 40s.
Rebecca, me and you go as a couple, love.
Might not be as pretty.
But it doesn't matter because people in their 20s.
I'm lying. It's going to be totally as pretty. It's going to be
they don't have enough life experience to be really entertaining.
Exactly.
On Big Brother, Mandy, yourself, Rebecca, Joe, Sukhvinder, a lot of the older housemates were the one that really had. I mean, Rebecca, you're not. You know what I mean. It's a compliment. It's a compliment. It's a compliment. Substance, depth. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes really good television is people who have gone through more life experience and somebody like
ones that weren't reality stars that were just people. They're not normal people as in normal people because they wouldn't have gone to Big Brother. So can you imagine what was missed when I went out? Why do you think I went in there? There's so many stories that didn't get told.
Hey, I'll always remember the story about your sex tape, Mandy.
Do you know the other thing that I would have said to Raf is if he would have known my story for the reason for going in there and about my partner's illness and would have got to know me and then would have known if he knew the story, then I think it would have been a completely different.
You lasted a long time though, Joe. I wouldn't complain.
Yeah, both you did.
It's a shame that Raf never knew because I didn't. I'm one of them people that didn't want to. But if he knew the full extent of,
I think Raf's over it. I think it's. I think you're all good now, aren't you? Both of you.
Yeah, no, but I wish he knew.
Joe, we're fine, right?
The illness that she had, the reason why I went on there wasn't about me talking about money and this. Only if he knew the couple of times that I brought the money situation up, only if he knew that the reason or the story behind my partner's illness and for why I went on there. I never went on there for fame or anything like that because I was already well known, been on TV before and all that crap. But it wasn't for that. It was. I wish that it's just the way it's gone. But I know for a fact if Raf had known the full reasons of me and my partner, who if by the way, if me and my partner walked in there on that same day, that show would have been a completely different show. And I guarantee you it would have been. It's one of them things, isn't it? So
I will say I have to head out, but in general, I have so much love for the people I shared this experience with. I really do. I love pretty much every single person I lived in that house with. And even if I don't speak to the people, we shared that beautiful experience together. And I hope one day we can all come together because this is something that so few people get to do. And we had a really special group of people, even though we had a lot of
I agree.
People were really special. The unit. And I just love you guys all. But I got to head out. But just much love.
Love you, Raf.
So, Mandy, what about you? What's life been like for you since leaving the house and what do you do now?
So, like Rebecca, who I'm very proud of, I have to say, like a proud mother. She calls me Mother Mandy anyway.
You are my Mother Mandy.
You're my sister daughter. So she's just got.
That's where you say you're my sister, isn't it?
I'm like your sister, Arthur.
No, not like you guys look like sisters, don't you?
Oh, what, me and Rebecca?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm taking a degree at the moment. So yeah.
In what?
Amazing.
Conservation
Young boys.
heritage. What did he say?
I love Joe.
What did Joe
She's got that degree already. She's a master of it.
Wait, you're studying young men, Mandy, aren't you?
Joe, listen.
Mandy, I know what you're like. Mandy.
Listen, you can look, but I'd never touch. Loads of a nice bit of eye candy in there, but I'm all for a man over 50. So if anybody knows of anybody, please send it my way. I had the weirdest date the other day. Seriously, I could write a book on dates. But yeah, I'm doing I'm doing a degree. Yeah, so
Amazing.
What's your degree on?
Conservation of cultural heritage. So
like Big Brother.
sorry.
Like Big
Amazing.
Brother.
Yeah, like conserving antiques and building statues, whatnot.
So, what about you, Joe? Because
Sorry, go on.
I'm sorry. What? You got something else as well?
No, that's it.
What about any projects?
After I came out, I was on a show called Collection Hunters, just as one of their experts, but that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So we might see you on like TV shows that do that.
No, that was 3 years ago. Yeah, that was 3 years ago.
She did it after Big Brother.
Yeah.
Nice. Joe, what about you? What's life been like for you since leaving the house? Any projects that you've been working on?
Well, do you know what? The shit I had offered that I turned down at the beginning, it was just like, that's why I had to leave England. I had to come back straight to Tenerife because you name it, they asked me, even from, what was his name? Judge
Rinda.
Judge Rinda, Make or Break.
Naked Attraction.
No, my partner got asked to do that. No, I just came back to Tenerife, and to be quite honest with you, I just started doing my reunions, and Suki and Imran come over on the two years ago when I've done the first one. I own a big club, but the build, I own the building, and there's a little bit of legal stuff going on. But I've been doing reunions, and I'm just waiting to legalise another bar. So I've got another bar up and coming, but like I'm away from that England. Away from England, I'm here in Tenerife. I've been here since 1982. I mean, at the moment, it's heartbreaking because it's not like when people talk and you see all these people saying about this lockdown in England. When we got locked down, we weren't allowed to go out, and it's in the middle of the summer, and the streets outside are absolutely dead. All the bars are closed. The bar, if there's a bar or restaurant that's open, it has to be shut before 12 o'clock. And where all the bars are, the strip that they call it, that's the police, because they started allowing the English and the Germans and the Spanish back on the island. When they locked us down, we only had 100 cases. Today, we've got over 800 cases, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And to be in the middle of summer, when you've got nearly 5 million people that visit this island, and you look out the balcony, and it's just like a ghost town, and it's really hard at the moment. But so everything, you have to wait for everything to come back to normal, but it's not going to happen, because you've got to remember, this is not a mainland, this is just a little island. And because like everyone's flying in and like coming in for 2 weeks and leaving their shit and everything, and it's just gone from really bad to really terrible, like to have 700-800 cases with only 2 million people on the island. So everything is on hold at the moment. I have got another reunion coming up, but again, we're just waiting to see, because of the law here, that all the bars have to remain closed, so they're trying to stop it.
Yeah. What do you mean reunion?
It's just hard. It's hard. You know what I'm saying to you? You've got to wear a mask. If they catch you not having a mask on outside in the street, you get a €200 fine. If you're not allowed to smoke in public, you get a €200 fine. But we're just waiting to see what happens, you know. But I think there will be another lockdown because it's just I just feel for the island and all the businesses and things that it's just everything is on hold at the moment. But at the end of the day, I'm still living my life, you know. I mean, no one's going to stop me living.
So, what do you mean by reunions? Like, because Mandy.
Well, I got a famous bar that I opened in 1986, and it became.
What's famous about it?
What's famous about it? That all the footballers, all the stars, and just the name of it, everyone that came to Tenerife, anybody but anybody used to come to it, and it's been on the TV. It was featured on Tenerife Uncovered. You name the footballer, you name stars and boxers, Frank Bruno, Nigel, but you name it, everyone has been there. And it's like you could call it the String Fellas of Tenerife, the String Fellas of London. This is my club was the String Fellas of Tenerife. So, and
How long have you had it?
I owned it since 1986. So,
oh wow!
I mean,
you don't know that, Mandy.
Say that again.
You don't know that.
About what?
You don't know that.
I remember him telling me about him having a bar and they boxers when I was in the house, but I didn't realise he'd had it since 1986.
Yeah, it was. I bought one bar in 1986, and I owned that for 5 years, and then because it was I could only hold about 100 people, and then I went from.
I used to have bars.
I went from one small bar, and then I could hold. I bought another 2,000 people in there. So.
Wow. Well, Rebecca, what about you? What's life been like for you since leaving the house, and anything exciting on the horizon that you can tell us about?
Changed her hair to red, and she became a criminal lawyer.
Yeah.
I can't kill her anymore.
No. Well, yeah, I mean, so I came out of the house and I sold my investigation company.
Why did you Rebecca?
Why did I sell it?
Yeah.
How much did you get, Rebecca?
Not as much as it was worth.
Oh, never mind.
However, it was for my own sanity because I came out of the house and I really struggled. Not just because of the house, but because of my own mental state for a long time. And a lot of that was to do with the fact that I spent all my life catching cheating partners and dodgy people, and it traumatized me. And so I came out and, God, I was nearly sectioned twice.
No.
So that wasn't
By
fun.
who though? By who?
By who? By doctors. So I had a couple of suicide attempts after I came out, which I don't have any.
Way.
I don't have any problem in admitting because I'm really well now. But yeah,
By the way, just earlier today, I was walking along. I was going to go and post you your present, which is a Beck's pint glass, and I know. Hey.
Oh my God, Arthur! I still drink out of my mugs. Does it say "I love you"? My mugs, they're downstairs.
Seriously, and I was like, and I got cross because it wouldn't print out the fucking thing, and so I just chucked it in a bin. So I can relate to your suicide attempts.
You chucked my fucking mug in the bin.
I did. I was going to post something to you, and I just chucked it away. And that is basically the same thing as trying to commit suicide. So what actually happened?
I love Arthur.
What actually happened? Great.
What actually happened? I don't particularly want to go into it because it does breed copycats, and so my job now is that I run a mental health charity. And so I don't go into details, but yeah. I mean, there was 2 pretty serious attempts, which, you know, it is what it is, and it's made me who I am, and that's absolutely fine. I'm just glad that I'm not in that place anymore. I've been well for 2 years now, but it took me nearly a year to get back on track. And like I say, it wasn't all because of Big Brother, but for me personally, I don't think that they, especially with, I'm really glad that Arthur has actually shared the reason why he was removed from the house, because for me, I don't think that they take mental health seriously enough, and I don't think that they did. They knew all about my history with mental health, and then they put me in the house. I don't think that they, and obviously other people can correct me, I think that if they see that you are 1,000,000% sane, I don't think that they really want you in the house. I think that they look for people that are really quite vulnerable in different ways, and then they use what they need to use to play on that. And I think that Arthur was one of them. I think that it was really quite a sad situation.
No, I mean, but like,
because I think that.
But the main point about my condition is that I think I'm totally sane, whereas everybody else doesn't. And so actually, I'm completely fine about the whole thing, whereas everybody else is like, shit, off the rails.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely
Good for you, Arthur.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Fine.
And
paper published. It's going to be fun. So go on, rock and roll.
I think that a lot of us have used what happened in there and become better from it. I know I certainly did, and I'm really grateful for that. I went while I was in the house, I was in my last year of law school, and they were delivering my dissertation to the diary room, and they were asking for extensions, and something was going wrong with it. And I remember screaming at Big Brother, like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing with my dissertation and things like that? And I failed that year, which I didn't know until obviously I came out. And then obviously I was really mentally unwell for quite some time after that. I returned back to law school in September last year to do it all again. And then I completed in July, August, something like that. And I've obviously just...
I don't know how you did it, because you were working
I don't.
with the mental health company that you're running now. You've got 2
2
jobs.
years now. Mm.
And a house and a home for children to run, a job, your social media, which is a large thing, and then doing a degree on top. Like, you know,
says the pretty blonde who's all tits and fucking ass, and actually is like seriously switched on.
I think I might start following you now, Rebecca.
Thank you, Joe.
But
yeah,
say that again.
It was shit, but it was great. Thanks.
Have you got any?
I can't compete with your other half. But
have you got any TV projects?
I think no one can. That's why you're lucky that she never fucking come in there.
I'm good with that.
And she has, by the way, got a proper fucking mental illness, mate.
Is it?
And obviously, you know, my job now is to try and put plans and propositions in place. I look after 5,000 lives now, and that's probably the best thing I've ever done in my whole entire life. And then on the other side of it, I look after criminals.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
For me, Rebecca,
I'm there if ever you need. And I'm loving life as a trainee solicitor. I'm honestly, I'm having a great time. It's wonderful, and I'm delighted. Television work, yeah, I still
sorry,
work for...
Rebecca, one question. Sorry to interrupt, Rebecca. If I need to find if someone's in prison, how do I do it?
You'll struggle with that.
Is there any way that anything you can look up to find?
Not really, but no.
You either have to know their name, you have to know.
Yeah, I know their name.
And then if you write to prison,
because I can
write to the prison where you think they're at.
I can look on the court system, but if I'm not representing them, then I can't. That's illegal.
So but you have to write.
So no.
A mate of mine, I didn't know where he'd gone, and so I knew he was one of Belmarsh or whatever it is. What's the one, Scrubs? So you just write to them as Scrubs. You have to put that. You write to the prison that you think they're at. At least that's what I got told.
But if you don't know what
no,
then
you've got to write to a few.
Rebecca,
you will struggle.
Let's go back to we go on so many tangents today. Let's go back to you with your potential TV projects.
I can't really.
Do you know what I was going to do? I was going to get a big, massive villa, and I spoke with it. I spoke to a few people from the house. What I was going to do, I was going to get this house, big, massive villa, and I was going to create our own Big Brother. Well, we was going to wear these body cameras. We were going to have all our phones and just redo Big Brother for ourselves.
Sham.
That got a big reaction then of excitement.
No,
Jesus Christ!
But if you was to do it right, it would have worked. It's like Love Island. They use a villa and everything, but you don't need to do it in a studio. If you have a house and you get the right characters in there, and everyone's live streaming on the phone, you're going to get enough people to watch it because you've got enough people that love Big Brother.
I could not live with Chanel ever again. I couldn't even meet her again.
I don't think she was invited, darling.
Then I'm there. Oh, but no Hannah as well. I couldn't deal with that either.
No, she wasn't invited either, or a sister.
Oh, wow.
But Rebecca, just before we go, because we're running out of
I know.
I need to eat.
Yeah, I've not had my dinner yet.
TV projects.
Yeah, I can't really tell you because it's very early on, but it's with Channel 4, and it is back to my detective days. So I'm excited. We will see. What?
So watch your back, Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
You ain't got shit on me, mate.
That's what you think.
I'm a good boy, mate. I tell you what, I could catch a lot of cheaters because I fucking know a lot of it. I know a lot of people that do it.
No, I wasn't talking cheating.
No, well, thank you so much, everybody, for taking part today. It's
thank
been the
you,
longest
Lewis.
one we've done, but it's been really fun. So thank you so much. And Rebecca, thank you so much for all your help with messaging people as well.
No, honestly, well done to you. No, I didn't. You're fucking right.
Fuck yeah.
No, well done, Lewis. Thank you. It's been lovely.
Thank you so much.
Again.
Thank you, Mandy. Thanks, Joe. Thanks,
There we go. So I hope you enjoyed the Big Brother 18 reunion. Don't forget to come back for the Big Brother 19 reunion. And then we've got the celebrity ones coming as well. So it's going to be absolutely incredible.